most of the time I'm kind of an introvert, so in school usually I just want to do my drawings. Yeah. So I think beyond what I intended, the illustrations clearly has taken a form of their own stories for other viewers. It has also become something for them. Hi, I'm Xing Li. I'm a full-time illustrator. I love doing illustrations of things that surround me in Singapore. So it could be the food that we eat, architecture that we see around us, cultures that we experience, and ultimately also the changing landscape of Singapore, which is our home. I think cultural identity is about who we are. It could be memories, it could be parts of ethnic culture, it could be about the built heritage around us. So all these things add together, it becomes this thing called cultural identity. So it could be seen in your shophouses or even be contemporary architecture. It becomes problematic when certain things are seen as with a very simplistic cultural narrative. And I think that will obscure the complexity of the various ethnic identities and cultural identities in Singapore. As you look at my illustration, I try to merge several landscapes from different time periods together. And that also goes back to how I approach architecture as well, like site studies and finding out the urban context. All this sort of give you the story of the place itself. And when you have a story, there's a character. And when there's a character, there's a human aspect, kind of soul of the place. Things doesn't just grow or develop over out of nowhere. So why a particular shophouse at Ceylon Street has certain design, then you realize that it has a particular history of Sri Lankan families that used to live around Ceylon Street. You look at, say, Pulau Tekong has colonial structures and foundations from old kampongs, and without any written history or much information, I'm keen to find out more because the subject matter is heritage. When you look at how these places develop, you can see there's actually a very rich, diverse mix of cultures during the whole development of these places. It makes Singapore what it is, and at the same time putting your own identity in it as well. A lot of places that I remember since my childhood, some of them are no longer around, so the rapid change is something that affects me greatly. It's more of the sights and sounds has changed. Even old coffee shops, the feeling is different. So all these things is something I want to document it. There are people who thank me for capturing a particular memory they had for certain environments, especially places that are already gone, like maybe an old coffee shop along Telok Kurau or even a former National Theatre. It was particularly heartening when I did the In Our Time piece for the Senate 8Q. That work went beyond generations. Even though that exhibition was meant for children, you see maybe an elderly grandpa or grandma sharing the stories of their kampong with a very young kid. It's all these little stories and shared experience in the same space but different periods of time, which makes it quite amazing. That binds the community together. Despite differences, there are all these things that we share, and there's always common grounds that we can look to. Another thing is that I hope that by focusing on all these little things, people will be more interested and observant and curious about the environment they are in. And when you're more interested in all these things around us, you can find stories around us that you want to be part of, and remind each other that we still share this same home.